Yeah, start now, okay? That good? Alright, so yeah, I'm not Tyler, he's back there. So, right, here you go. I'm gonna do my best though, okay? So, I guess I'll sit right here for this. Okay, so, before I get into it, let's say a word of prayer, okay? Dear God, I just want to come to you right now and thank you for all that you've done and given me this opportunity to speak to the youth tonight, Father. And I pray that you give me the words to speak tonight and give me the courage to stand up here in front of all these guys and girls and help them hear what you have to say and that we can all come together under your name. And it's in your name I pray. Amen. Okay, so Luke chapter 10. Someone's already asked me if I meant to preach out of Luke. Sure. So yeah, Luke chapter 10, verses 1 through 3. Okay? It says, after this, the Lord appointed 72 others and sent them on ahead of him, 2 by 2, into every town and place where he himself was about to go. And he said to them, the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Therefore pray earnestly to the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into his harvest. Go your way. Behold, I am sending you out as lambs in the midst of wolves. So, how does that tie into what I'm going to speak tonight? Well, past couple weeks, I don't know if y'all have picked up on it. Hopefully you have. Tyler's been laying out kind of a plan that he's been working on for over 2 years now. And it's what we as a youth group are going to do together to draw more people in and draw us closer together. And he's talked about common and unity and what each of those things mean. So I'm asking for your help on this. Common. Who knows what that is?
Again?
Yes. A bunch of people coming together in here with a bunch of things in common. Smart. And eventually we will be united, unity, under the name of Jesus, right?
Yes.
There you go.
True.
Thank you. So, I'm finishing that up with Impact tonight. And that's basically going to be what we do after we're all as close as we are now. How do we get more people to come in? Okay? So, it's going to be our goal as a youth group. The final step in our mission statement is to get out of this room, out of that room, out of the church, go get more people that we run into every day and bring them in here and draw them to know the Lord. So, how do we do that? How does being sent out as lambs into the midst of wolves get us to that? Well, to impact others, you need to know what your story is. Each of us have our own story. We're unique. God made us that way. And your story is your testimony. So, like, mine is, I grew up in 12th Street, not this building, but down there, that 12th Street. Grew up in church setting, got baptized, became a believer at like the age of 6, but didn't really comprehend that and like take it seriously until I was like a teenager. Like 7th, 8th grade is when I started taking it seriously because January of 8th grade, I had the bright idea to jump off a golf cart. Don't be stupid, by the way. And wasn't supposed to make it out of that. Doctors told me first thing when I woke up from surgery, you shouldn't be here. You are one lucky guy. So that's when I kind of like started taking life seriously. Started looking for my purpose in life. Because God wouldn't have spared me from that if he didn't have a plan for me. And I'm up here tonight trying to work towards that plan that God has laid out for my life. Because summer last year at camp, huge, I got called to ministry. So that was a whole nother experience in and of itself. I'll tell you that story if you come and ask after. But got called to ministry one night at camp. That was the most amazing experience I've ever had. And since then, Tyler back there has been helping me get ready to come up here on stage. And yeah, nervous, but it's okay. I'm going to get through it because God will be there for me no matter what. And he will be for each of you too. So yeah, I know what God's plan for my life is, and I'm working towards that slowly, one step at a time, baby steps, but I'll get there. As long as I trust in Him and keep seeking Him in every moment of every opportunity that He gives me. So, that's the first part. Revisiting the past, knowing where you came from, where you started out, and how you've gotten here to the present. That's your testimony, that's your story. Now, the present. What are we supposed to do now in this very moment? We shouldn't be comfortable. It's called holy discontent. It's defined as having such a spiritual burden on one's heart, that which causes them to go out and make a difference. For us as a body of believers, as Christians, holy discontent means you shouldn't ever be okay with where you are now. You should always want to get someone else that you're close with in church, with Jesus, in a relationship with God. That way, we can keep building His kingdom. So, holy discontent. Sounds big and wordy, but it's really simple. So, never grow comfortable, I've already said. You should never be okay with where you are personally on a spiritual level or where the people around you are. You can't assume they say they're a Christian, they have to be a Christian. I know tons of people that claim to be Christian. They don't go to church on Sundays or Wednesdays or live a Christian life. So I personally should feel burdened to speak out as a light for Christ. Sometimes I'll admit I don't do that. I miss opportunities all the time. But God keeps giving me those because one day I'll make a difference for Him and I'll lead someone to Christ, I believe. So, that's the present. The future, what does the future hold? Well, Tyler has really helped me understand a youth group in like a church setting as this. It can be broken down into 3 simple levels, and I'm going to break it down even farther for our youth group. So a church can be broken down into fellowship, discipleship, and evangelism. It's those 3 things that build a healthy church. And for our youth group, it's common, unity, impact. Fellowship is like common because it's when you come together and fellowship with other people and associate with people who have the similar interests that you do. So fellowship in common can be seen in events like the parking lot bash that's this Saturday. A bunch of people come in because they thought it sounded cool. Well, that's why we're doing it, because it sounds cool. People will come, and then we'll work towards getting them plugged in, inviting them to church, and hopefully one day them coming to know Jesus. And so after that, after fellowship common, we'll move into discipleship, unity for us. It's where you spend time with one another on a deeper level. You get to know each other's spiritual burdens. You're accountable. It's okay. You're accountable with one another. You hold each other accountable in accountability groups. We set those up this past summer. Huge. If you're not in one, I highly encourage you to get plugged in one, because just speaking from my group that I'm in, we text each other regularly. We try to do it at least once, twice, 3 times a week, trying to make sure that everyone's okay, and then we're going to hang out some outside the church, because that's how you get to know people on a deeper level. You don't just say, hey, to each other Sundays and Wednesdays. You go and hang out on Saturdays or after school. You run and get coffee, whatever you want to do. We should do that, by the way, guys. Coffee after school. So yeah, unity. You get to know each other on a deeper level, hold each other accountable, you support one another, and you all keep it focused on God. You make sure He's the priority in each of your lives. And then finally, evangelism, impact for us. That's when we go out of the church, spreading the gospel, and trying to evangelize and get people involved here at 12th Street. And we try to lead them, live a Christian lifestyle. it's going to be hard. You can't do it perfectly. I've screwed up and many a time, and you will too, but it's okay, because Jesus says, if you read on past verse 3 a little bit, he goes, whatever house you enter first, this is verse 5 by the way, whatever house you enter, first say, peace be to this house. And if the Son of Peace is there, your peace will rest upon him. But if not, it will return to you. And remain in the same house, eating and drinking. What they provide for the laborers deserve his wages. Do not go from house to house. So, whether or not people accept you at first, you don't give up. You don't just throw in the towel, call it done. You stay consistent in your chasing after God, chasing after them, trying to lead them. And one day, maybe, I don't know, I can't tell you what will happen, but hopefully God will burden their heart and let them see him. So, do you have that pyramid up there? There you go. So that's what it'll look like. It's a pyramid. Fellowship, discipleship, evangelism, common unity, impact. That's what's going to build our church and our youth group. But if you notice, there's a bunch of arrows going all over the place. Basically just to say they're interchangeable. That no point is at the highest. No part of us as a youth group is more important than the other. If you're already in common, then you get plugged in unity. If you're already in unity, impact. If you're in impact trying to evangelize people, but you aren't really plugged in the first place, get back in common. It's all interchangeable. One part is not bigger than the other. So, after knowing all that, me just kind of throwing this all at you at once, what do you do after that? How are you supposed to get through it? Because Jesus says we're lambs in the midst of wolves, right? That makes it out like this is going to suck. It's going to be terrible. Which, at times, it may seem like it will. But we can't lose hope. You can't lose your faith. You can't fall. Even if you do, you have to get back up and keep seeking God. Because no matter what, we have to press on towards the goal. Tyler talked 2 weeks ago about Philippians 3. And he really just encouraged me, I hope he encouraged y'all too, to not get down about slow results, about not seeing a result quickly when you're trying to be a light for Christ. And we can't lose our hope, because if we remain faithful, one day God will use us as tools to build his kingdom. And as hard as it is to accept sometimes, we're just the seed planters. Sometimes we don't get to see that grow into a blooming life for God. But sometimes we're just the seed planters, which I'm struggling personally to be okay with. I have been since camp. I gave y'all my whole spiel back then, so I won't again. But sometimes we just have to do what God tells us and say, there you go, Lord. It's yours. Take over from here, please. And that's all we can do, really, is just serve God and give it to him. Give all the glory to him, whether people accept you or reject you, whether they want to get plugged in church in the youth group, or if they don't. You got to be okay with it, because God will handle it. The Holy Spirit will work in their lives if it's God's plan. And yeah, it's kind of depressing, right? It's okay, because Jesus tells us in the Bible that in this world you're going to have troubles, you're going to have trials and tribulations that you go through, you're going to get down, you're going to lose your way. But stay strong, because he's already won the battle. Everyone at one time or another in the end, we're all going to bow before Jesus and call him Lord. And yeah, I just really want to encourage y'all to not lose hope. That's really what I want to push. Keep working to impact others as you go out this week and the rest of your lives, and make a difference for God. Build his kingdom and give him the glory. Our mission statement, as we're calling it, is Common Unity Impact. Remember that. Always keep that in the back of your mind. We got to stay together, stay one. We have to be able to be close enough to tell each other your struggles and just go through life together, really, because you're not going to do so hot on your own. So, yeah, common unity. Tyler talks about it all the time. You rub it together real fast, sticks together, and it makes community. So that's what we're working towards, right? We're working towards a community of believers that is always seeking to bring in someone new. So yeah, that's really all I have for you guys.